Hey YouTube, this is Shadow SA2B. Got a Yu-Gi-Oh deck here for you to check out. It's a Cyber Dragon build, and I would like to get some responses on it. I try to make it as consistent and as playable as possible. I'd love any advice anyone can give on it. I know cyber decks are kind of done to death on YouTube, but check this out, see what you think. Let me know if you have any suggestions. So here we go with the deck. 3 Cyber Dragon, pretty obvious. I only run 2 Proto, just because I think 3 is really too much. It counts as Cyber Dragon only on the field, so having it in your hand or in your graveyard isn't quite as good, but it's still good to have 2. 3's way. Again, pretty obvious. Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, great card. 1 Light Hex Sealed Fusion, helps speed up the fusions for the extra deck. 3 Cyber Valley, another obvious card for Cyber Dragons. Draw power, stalling, get the idea. 2 Honest, since everything's light. Shining Angel. I only have 1. I've debated running more, but 1 seems to do okay. You can search for Zwei, search for Honest, search for pretty much anything you would need in the deck. 1 Duplication, Battle Chanted Locomotive, just for extra draw power, get to the key cards you want. This is kind of a tech choice of mine. It seems to do pretty well. 1 Ducker Mobile Cannon. Lets you recover any level 4 monster in your graveyard. That gives you Zwei, Shining Angel, Honest. It's really proven to be a really good card, and it's another light machine, so that helps as well. 1 Jinzo. This is a little bit of a tricky card to play around, but not impossible. Helps slow your opponent down as well. You don't rely as heavily on traps in this deck, so it's really pretty good. And just for another light machine to help round out the monsters, Blue Thunder T45. 1700 attack, makes a token when it kills something, so really, it's not bad. Just another light machine to help round out the deck. And finally, Gores, just for another tech. I don't know, he's good to have in a pinch. If your field's empty, he's in your hand, you know. Okay, on to the spells. 2 Power Bond and 1 Polymerization. I run the Poly instead of a 3rd Power Bond just to avoid the extra burn damage and still have the fusion options along with the Light Hex Sealed Fusion. It's pretty good. Power Bond obviously gives you the power increase, but Polymerization, you don't take the life point burn, so if you get stopped, it's good to have. 1 Overload Fusion, obvious for Chimera Tech, Over Dragon. 1 Limiter Removal, staple for machines. Machine Assembly Line. This is a little bit of a slow card, but it's a good recovery card as well. Your machines die, you put 2 junk counters on it, then you get back something from your graveyard when you sacrifice it that has equal or less levels to the number of junk counters. It's pretty good. You know, plus gives all machines 200 point boost while it's on the field, so. 2 MST, just for standard removal. Swords of Revealing Light, stalling for the key cards once again. Then run 3 Smashing Ground for monster removal. Don't want any of those pesky things in your way. Pot of Avarice, draw power, get back some key things from your graveyard, Honest and Cyber Dragon and such. And Giant Trinade, just to help clear up the field once again. Then for traps, let's see. 2 DNA Surgery. We have Jinzo in here, so we're pretty light on traps. 2 DNA Surgery. This turns your opponents into machines. You can always side this out for whatever you want if you're against like a Machina deck or anything like that. But if you're not, this great card turns all your opponents' things into machines as well. So you drop Proto Cyber Dragon, Light Hex Sealed Fusion, Cyber Dragon's Way when you have a spell in your hand, and you can always just clean up their field with Chimera Tech Over Dragon. Great card. Dust Tornado, just for more backfield removal, and it's a chainable card as well. Return from the different dimension with Overload Fusion and Cyber Valley. We have lots of removal. It's great to get more draw power in a pinch, or Cyber Valley. You can either half your life points or take a lot of damage from your monsters, from your opponent's monsters. So if you have Cyber Valley and they hit that instead, that'll end their battle phase and you'll get a draw. So there's plenty of usage for this card. And ideally I would have 2 bottomless trap hole here, but I only have 1, so instead I use compulsory evacuation, which also isn't a bad choice. It's good to get rid of synchros and fusions, and it's more chainable than bottomless trap hole, obviously. So really, it's not bad. There's some interesting tricks you can do with that. So yeah, that's main deck, and fusion deck is pretty obvious. 2 Cyber End. Having Cyber Dragon at 3 really helps get this guy out. 2 Chimera Tech Over Dragon. Really don't need more than that. You could run 3 if you want, or 3 Cyber End, but I've been good with 2 of each. 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I would like 3, don't have the 3rd. 2 has been really great as well. And of course, 3 Cyber Twin Dragon. I've tried Black Salvo for a tuner. It hasn't done that great for me. I've seen people run it before, but for me it hasn't really worked. Sometimes I'll try Morphtronic Scoping just for a tuner for Black Rose Dragon, clean up the field, and then go Overload Fusion. But that's seems kind of inconsistent in my opinion. So I've opted to just focus on the fusions more than synchroing for anything, because there isn't that much that you really want to synchro for in this. You could somehow pull Catastor, but that's a little tough in this deck. So let me know what you think. Comment, rate, give me any suggestions, and thank you.